Hello everyone, welcome to Breadwin Consulting. So today we will start a series of videos or tutorials that will give you an overview of what is SAP Datasphere is, right? So we will quickly straight away enter into the discussion. So here is the outline, what you can expect by end of this video. So we will discuss the overview of the session, what is Datasphere, why Datasphere, and then what is the buzz around. What is the high level architecture? In fact, I have pulled through two slides so that it will give you a comprehensive idea of what it is, right? And specifically the functionalities that I have bulleted so that you can easily remember them. And what are all the strategic partnerships that SAP is taking or taken already to enhance the enterprises so that are on SAP Datasphere. And key takeaways at the end of this session. So what is it that we have understood, and then what is it that we need to take away. So when we all know, right, currently when we see in the market, especially from SAP perspective, so we only see two things. One is SAP BW4 HANA, the other is SAP Datasphere. So when it comes to SAP BW4 HANA or B4 HANA, we know clearly that it is available on-premise, on-prem, and it can also be on the private cloud. So these are the kind of scenarios that we have seen. So when it comes to Datasphere, it is clearly a cloud-based tool or an application so that SAP has brought through. Now, what is this SAP Datasphere and SAP Data Warehousing Cloud? So once for all, let us clearly clear out the confusion that SAP Datasphere is same as the Data Warehousing Cloud with enhanced features, which is rebranded. So we know that Data Warehouse Cloud is introduced by SAP on 2019, and 2023 it got rebranded as Datasphere. So right, so now we know that it is a successor to SAP Datasphere is successor to SAP Data Warehouse Cloud. So both are cloud tools, cloud-based tools. Now, what is Datasphere specifically? So right, as I have mentioned already, it is a cloud-based data warehousing solution which is successor to our data warehousing cloud. So this is what gives a broader idea. When we go into the details, I will tell you what are all the features, everything, and then the most interesting part is that when we see it in the system, that gives the clear picture and idea, because that is where we are all interested in, right? So now what is it basically designed for? So it is designed both for the analytical expert, when I meant analytical expert, purely from the technical angle, who are consultants and who are the key business users. We might call them super users or power users in our language, daily routine language, from analytics perspective. And this also enables, right, all the users or the user groups to create their own analytical applications in an agile way. So agile is something that clearly we can create analytical applications swiftly. So that's what, right? So in summary, when somebody asks what is Datasphere, so it is a cloud-based database or solution, and what it does, it will harmonizes the organization's strategic data. So this is what we can say, right? SAP Datasphere is a cloud-based data warehousing solution, so which will help enterprises or organizations to harmonize the strategic data, right? So why do they need to harmonize this strategic data or data that is available, right? So the obvious answer is that it will accelerate the decision making. What kind of decision making is the strategic decision making, right? So what kind of users does it help? So both the analytical expert versus the business user. So it is aimed for that, right? And uh, what extra does it give is that it gives greater meaning to the data that is available in the enterprise or the organization's solutions in data warehouse, and it also enhances all the functionalities. When I meant functionalities, all the advanced analytics capabilities. What are those? We will see them uh, in the system, right? Then it becomes clear. So now with this, I will just move on to the next slide. So why Datasphere? Then the next question comes, right? So we have seen what is Datasphere. So now why Datasphere is a question. So we understood that it is a cloud-based solution provided by SAP for all the data warehousing and analytical needs for a specific organization. Now we all agree that it needs to be secured. So that is what organizations look for. So this is a fully managed and secure data warehousing solution, right? That is why the first point, the organizations or enterprises will incline towards SAP. We all know that, right? And the second key thing is that it will allow or blend data from SAP sources, all your third party, both from on-premise and cloud. So we all know this data lake concept. So it can also include data from that, right? This blending capability or collecting all the data from these data sources is the key thing, right? Now, when it comes to SAP Datasphere, one thing that we introduce a term called spaces here. When we meant spaces, I will show you in the system. So spaces is something, a unique concept that is introduced in the Datasphere, at least for someone who is actually checking this or trying to understand these concepts, right? For simplicity's sake, let us understand like this. A space is a virtual workspace. That's it. So let us put it that way. And why do we need that virtual workspace? We need that virtual workspace so to kind of hold all the data together as a repository. So which is representing for a specific business segment. Say like you have sales data, finance data, you have procurement data, you have warehouse management data, all these things, right? So you have your own defined virtual workspace, which we call it as a space here, right? That is it. When we meant discrete, so they have their own isolated environment, which have their own, which has got their own benefits when we do the modeling part, right? This is one more advantage. And the other part is that the SQL and the data flow editors, which I show in the system, then we understand clearly. So those are all inbuilt. So this is one thing. This integration capability is the key when we talk about SAP, right? Now, business content is something which is the unique service proposition or selling proposition from SAP perspective, right? So across all the line of businesses, say from your sales to finance to procurement to transportation management to warehouse management to everything, it has given the business content reporting existing solutions, predefined solutions, so that organizations or enterprises can use them directly. So this is one more thing, right? So this is available here. The other key important aspect is that everywhere the buzzword is that low code or no code. The moment you log into any of the webinars or any of the systems or wherever you go across your coffee tables, these days people started talking about low code or no code. It is not that people are got that aversion or they are not able to do coding aspect, right? It is not that. It is about bringing more efficiency into the systems, right? So that if you are 60 to 70% of the coding aspect is taken care or in a different way. So when I meant in a different way, so it is via your graphical interface or dragging and dropping or bringing it to the perspective. When this is done, you can focus more on the use cases and I mean, you can put your energies or channelize your energies or mind into the solutioning part of it, giving them how the workflow should go for a strategic from a strategic decision standpoint. So this is what you will be able to help the user. So this is also available, which is a very good news. Next, self-service is again a key buzzword that which is highly appreciated from the end user perspective. Suppose you have few of the changes that needs to be done when you have given a report or something. So if you imagine that they have to come back or they have to the consultant and then get those things, then there is a time lag, there is an effort needed, all these things. But you enable the end user who has got that idea and mindset to see different in a way that he needs in different perspectives. This will help him basically, right? This is the self-service concept, high level. When you get into the discussion, so it is a different thing, but I'll tell you, since this is an overview session, I'm just giving a touch and taste type scenario here, right? Now, what it does, next important point is that it has got the business semantic modeling isolated from your data storage or where data is available. What is meant by this statement, right? So you have your business raw data that is transformed according to the business rules to certain extent and then stored, right? So this is from a consultant angle. So you need some business rules, you need that some sort of cleaning the data while extracting, after extracting, transforming the data and then loading it somewhere, keeping it ready. So this is what you call it as an ETL, right? This is what we have been doing, and then this is what is making ready of the data that is needed at a different level, right? So this, when you meant business semantic modeling, so this is from an end user perspective. So these are kept in a two different angles. When I meant that, let me introduce two more terms. One is data builder, one is business builder. So we will discuss at get to that point, but as of now, remember this. So here we are trying to get used to all the terminologies so that when we go there, we know what it is. Now there is no need for us to understand or grasp everything. Don't worry about it. It is a session that is aimed to get ourselves used to the terminology, right? That's what it is, so that you don't feel it as a jargon when you go there. Now the migration aspect is obviously needed. So the reusability is also needed. So both are possible. When I meant reusability, so there is no need in certain kind of situations. Suppose imagine, so some client or a user or an enterprise or an organization has already implemented the SAP BW4 HANA. So there is no need for him to immediately switch or in a hurried fashion or a hasty a decision that he has to come to this thing. So he can just reuse those solutions. How we will see it when we get to the architecture and also in the system, right? I will just try to show you what is possible because we only have the um, uh, demo version that is available with us, right? So just to see and experience what is SAP Datasphere. So migration is obviously possible. So wherever it is needed, so that is there via your enabled possibilities. Row level filter possibility. Row level filtering is something is a unique thing where it comes into two aspects, right? One is your space collaboration. When I meant space, right? You should understand that virtual workspace. You should get back to that concept. And your data sharing, right? From your sales to finance or sales to procurement, see these kind of things. We will exactly see an example so that it gives you a better understanding, right? Now, where does everybody, where is everybody doing the reporting these days? It is all SAC, right? SAP Analytics Cloud. So now the next question that might come to us is that whether it is integrated or not. Obviously, so it is integrated, it is available, right? So that clears our next point. So why Datasphere? We have got all the points that gives us that confidence when we, if somebody asks or when you give a solutioning to the client. So these are all the points that you can just highlight and then explain them, right? That's why I've bulleted all of this. Now what we have seen, what is the overview, why, how it is rebranded, and then what is Datasphere, why is Datasphere. This is the flow we have gone. Now let us come to the architecture. The moment you glance it, so you see it lot of things in one go, which is very, very overwhelming, right? But let us not go that way. So if you see it here on the left hand side, wherever I'm highlighting the cursor, you will have your SAP BW, B4 HANA, BW Bridge, so which is used widely, which reduces the time and effort. S4 HANA, ECC, your SFSF is your success factors, right? And your Concur. So these are the data sources that can come from SAP perspective. And what are the others? You will have your flat file need that will always be there. Without flat files, it will not be complete. So that is there. So you have your Google BigQuery, so which is coming from Google Cloud Platform, which is GCP, right? So this is something which is very, very uh, uh, getting highlighted these days because of its capabilities. And Hadoop, OData, Oracle, and your Amazon Redshift. So when I meant data lake, I have told you already. So this is just to store the data. And now, what is it? There are two things, right? I told you uh, Datasphere specifically takes care of your key analytical consultant perspective and also your business perspective, who are key users or super users or power users. This is what is here. I am highlighting IT driven, business driven. This is something I have taken from the SAP source itself. So this is an SAP given diagram, right? Architecture. So you have your connections from all these things. There are 31 types or something, which when we get into the system, I'll show you. So you have your data builder. What is data builder used for? All your modeling capabilities. This will help. So you can create your tables for graphical use. Yes, you can have your SQL views, entity relationship models, analytical models for SSE or something, your data flows, your intelligence, task chains. So all these things, right? And task chain is something which is new, right? So what is task chain? I'll give you a high level understanding. This will allow you to group the several entities or something. I'll show you in the system if at all it permits, right? So now you will see your replication or federation happening, right, on a virtual way, or the replication that is happening here. When I meant spaces, this is how it looks like. You will have your admin controlling it, you'll have your security thing, what shares, the finances, sales, and then every data is isolated. You have your own spaces that have access and all those things. Tables views, so which is obviously space versus schema, right? So this is what it is. So this is all IT driven till here. So from your connections, from your sources to based on the connections, your data builder, which is used for modeling spaces, and you're coming back to the business driven things. So in business builder, what is it that you actually do, right? So once the data is available, you might need certain things to combine and then in a way polish the data or refine the data. Sometimes you also need to enrich them with the already created objects, right? This is what you does basically from a business aspect. So that is what will create your enhanced reports. So all these things you will be able to do, data builder, right? So then the other thing is that it can also help us to create, right, the say your business units, the consumption models, so which can further be used in your SAC. So this is your final virtualization layer. So that, right? So that is what it is. So now here comes your all the data marketplaces, security, which helps us to create your users, roles, and activities, snapshot, and then real-time integration from data integration and monitoring perspective, your repositories, content network, and all those things. All these things here is your SAP HANA based in memory, and your virtual accesses, connectivities, all these things are mentioned here. So in summary, so what it does is that, so you will have your space management that is mentioned here. When you meant space management, so it is kind of a repository, so which is a virtual workspace. So that will create the isolated modeling aspects or spaces for your thing, uh, to create your secure modeling environments. That is what it is, right? So let us put it that way. So who can create these spaces? Obviously, your administrators. In one way, to connect, maybe like where your admin is like your basis guy. If you understand that way, right? So he can add the users, he can assign the roles to him, he can use the monitoring and logging tools, all those things he can do, right? So that is what is from the admin aspect. Now, data integration part is the key right now. So, data integration, I already told you, so it can import data from your cloud, on-premise, SAP data, non-SAP data, everything based on all the 31 connection types, which I am going to show you in the system, right? This is what it is. Now, where do we do the data modeling? We know clearly that it is on the data builder. Data builder is your data modeling tool that we do here. In one way, it is kind of an editor, so which is very simple interface. If we have seen SAC, the Datasphere looks exactly the same. So when you meant modeling, what do you do in modeling part? So you will combine the data based on connecting the data sources. So more than two. So that takes the shape of a multiple data sources. You clean them or transform them, and then prepare data to use further in your SAC or your visualization tool. So this is what you does, right? So it has got all the capabilities from SAP sources, non-SAP sources, cloud, on cloud, your flat file, Google Cloud, everything that is, I mean, almost all everything. So you can get it because it is SAP, it takes care of the integration very smoothly. So what specifically you can do there? You can create your tables based on your graphical view. Table creation can be done, and you can create your relationship models. So when I went relationship models, so this will be your tables, views, etc. And then how do you deploy them? We will see everything. So SQL views, so based on the SQL editor, and then how do you query them, all these things, right? Your analytical models, especially from the SAP SAC perspective. And the data flows as you see it here. When you say data flows, so these are the ETL things, right? How do you extract, your transformed and then loaded? All your simplified, very user friendly and intuitive interface. So this is what is available there. And the replication things are also available. As you see, you can create replication flows. So replication flows, when I meant, so it can be either from your CDS views, tables, your ODP objects, all those things you can get to the same target. So that is what it is. We will see what it is specifically, provided if it allows, because some things what I observed is that they're not working, so that we have to see it, right? So S4 HANA Cloud is something as default it is given. So there are certain limitations, but whatever maximum I can show as a demo, so I will try to keep it very interesting to you. And I have mentioned task chains, right? So if you have to stitch together or group together several entities, so this is what your task chain works actually. So we will see what it is. And data modeling in business builder again. So business builder, as you have seen, if at all you have to create your new dimensions or your analytical data sets. Dimensions, when I meant, so dimensions, your fact tables, so you know, right? So both for the analysis you need it. So dimensions is for your characteristics, fact tables which needs to be for your measurement or something like that. So both are based on tables, and you create your fact tables so that it will group together both the fact and dimensions, right? I mean dimensions and fact data. So the other thing is that this is where it will allow you to import the B4 HANA models, as I mentioned earlier in one of the point, right? So analytical queries, so for further analysis, and the authorization scenarios will also be there. That will be a bit deeper, but this will be taken care mostly by admin, and then each user has different roles, and then based on their activity persona it differs, right? And this is what is on a high level perspective. I think as you see it, you will visualize analyze them primarily on an SSE perspective because the integration is very smooth and seamless. Planning and prediction is also possible, SSE planning perspective, right? That is what it is. And hope it made sense when I explained the architecture perspective. So go through it a couple of times. You can go back and forth so that you will get a view of it. So read it from the left to right and then you will understand it clearly. So you'll be able to get that in your mind clearly if at all it is the first time beginner or those kind of guys, right? Next one. So this is also one more simplified architecture that I have taken from SAP site itself. So SAP.com. So if you see it here, what is it for? It will integrate all these things. And what do you operate? Your space management, admin services, business modeling, data builder, cataloging. So when I meant cataloging is your, how do you say, you will manage all your system objects, right? Cataloging, if I have to simply say, how do you organize your metadata, right? Let us put it that way. So organizing your metadata goes into the cataloging part. So, and why do you need to catalog data? Suppose if at all we have to think of a use case, right? Imagine you have to do some impact analysis. You have to change one object. So you need to understand where usually sort of, and then see what sort of objects or what other objects are getting impacted. This is one thing where you will be able to help it. And then it will give you all the data flow top and bottom type of, which you call it as a lineage, and the other one is impact analysis. So let us understand this way, right? And your external API consumption is possible here. So your SAP Analytics Cloud for visualization. So this is what it is. They've simplified it clearly. It helps in integration. How do you operate based on your business builder and data builder, and how do you manage, and then how do you use it? So these are the four key things, right? And here if you see it, there is a data intelligence part that is coming in, and then the BTP core and external tools as well, right? So this is a bit advanced, and then this is also kept into the perspective so that we have a view, right? And next one, as I have mentioned clearly, there are 5 functionalities: your space management, data integration, data modeling via data builder, and your business builder, which will help you to secure your semantics and business rules, and cataloging, right? And these kind of 5 things I have explained already. I will just briefly touch upon in 1 minute or so, right? So that you will get a better perspective. When I meant space management, spaces are something like your virtual workspaces, so which will give you isolated modeling environments, so which are very secured, like your sales one space, and then procurement one space for each line of business, which admin will create logically. And when I meant data integration, so it is whether data is coming from whichever source it is, cloud, on-premise, SAP data, non-SAP data, from your flat file, precisely some 31 sources by latest which I have seen in the system, right? These 31 are available. Data modeling is data builder, so where you will be doing your creating tables, creating your entity relationship models, creating your analytical models, creating your SQL views, data flows, everything will come here. Your replication flows, all these things will come here. And your business builder is something which will create your dimensions, fact tables, you're stitching them together, and then importing your before HANA models, and certain kind of authorizations, all those things you will play around here. And the cataloging, as I've told, this is from the governance aspect, where you will be creating your objects. From a metadata perspective, you will maintain them, which will help for specifically 2 use cases. Let us understand that way. One is your data lineage, your top and bottom, whatever is available if you have to analyze, and impact analysis if you see what objects are getting other impacted if you change this. And this together comes loosely as metadata governance. When you get into deep, there are different things. Now, if some enterprise is already there on DWC user, so Datasphere is automatically performed. So you don't have to worry about those things, right? It is already taken care, that smooth transformation that is available, right? So this is what SAP says. Now, this is an additional information that I wanted to tell you. So SAP is actually strategically thinking from a partnership aspect also, so that whoever is actually getting or getting involved into the SAP Datasphere or implementing that, so they should have certain other strategic initiatives also coming to the picture. Suppose they wanted to have the data lakehouse platform integration. So that is what Databrick does, right? Your Colibra, what it does is that we all know it can data governance aspect, and then why Colibra, meaning that it is an expert in doing that, maintaining that confidentiality, and then the compliance aspect. So imagine you are doing large digital transformation projects. So this does matter basically, right? So every small aspect becomes big there, right? The kind of transformation you are into, and the other things like wherever some of the data streaming things that you have to work on. My little understanding is that both this Confluent and Data Robot will work. So that is what SAP told. Now, what are all the key takeaways? Let us quickly summarize what it is. When we meant SAP Data Warehouse, what it is. So here I have summarized it. It is a very comprehensive tool which is very powerful. Why it is comprehensive and powerful? Again, because it is integration aspect and then analyzing aspect, both are there. It can analyze, it can do both, right? So that is what it is. Ease of use. Whoever has seen SAC, it is exactly the same. It will give that same ease of use and intuitive working capabilities, both for the expert who are expert consultants from the analytics, and also the end users. So they can do it with the same ease. Scalability aspect is very important. So that is taken care. Your advanced analytics. So when it comes to predictive analytics, your AI, ML, your generative, all these things are slowly getting integrated. All these data intelligence things that are also being integrated, few are already there, right? Because the data sphere is evolving day by day. So we just have to update it till the product gets stabilized, and a few implementations are already happens, and then we see them. So that's where the experience comes. We can see that happening already, right? So in summary, so DataSphere does, it is a successor to our data warehousing cloud. It is very powerful tool from SAP perspective. It is scalable. It has got all your capabilities. So if somebody is coming from a DWC, so without any worry, the transformation is smooth, right? This is what it is. And with this hope, I have given, I'm assuming that I made some sense in giving an overview of what SAP Datasphere is. If at all you are just trying to understand it, initial overview or something like that, there are a lot of other aspects which needs to be discussed in detail and to be analyzed or explained deeper, which we will do in further sessions, further videos. But for now, this is it. So next one is that, so thank you for watching till this time, and I would request everyone to just subscribe to our channel, which is Breadwin Consulting, where we are doing lot of good content. When you subscribe and like, this will sort of give us a motivation to do more content, right? So this is what it is. Thank you very much for watching, and in the next video I will try to share how can you create a demo account, and in the future videos we will see one by one the capabilities and then functionalities of DataSphere one by one. Thank you very much for watching, and for now, signing off. We will come back and meet soon for the further videos. Thank you once again. Please do subscribe.